Welcome to the You Can't Afford Me podcast, where we skip the fluff and dive straight into the grind. Real entrepreneurs, real struggles, and the unfiltered journey behind success. Let's get into it. Hey guys, thanks for joining us on another episode of the You Can't Afford Me podcast. Now, I hope before you're listening to this that you've had lunch, because you're probably going to get hungry while we're talking about what we're talking about today. Again, this is another individual you guys are seeing. We've had a quick chat, but this is really the first time we're meeting in person. Yes. So this conversation is going to be 1,000% organic. But today on the show, we have Gary. Gary, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Fantastic, man. So give everybody a quick rundown of who you are and what you do.
So, again, my name is Gary. I have my own catering company called TNC Custom Catering Events that I run with my wife and my other business partner, Cecil.
Nice. Now, I always like to start at the very beginning of the journey.
Okay.
How did you even get into the food industry?
You know what's so crazy about that? Like, it's not like really one thing. It was something I grew up, and my father, he could cook, so it was like a blessing that I just kind of got that gift.
Gotcha.
You know, and I started cooking when I was like 10 years old.
Right?
Yeah. First thing I ever cooked.
So mom and dad still in the bed, you making breakfast?
And that, yep, exactly what it was too. And about burnt the kitchen down, you know. And it was just something where I did it, and it was like, okay, this was pretty cool. And then as I got a little older, it became a necessity because like my mother wasn't able to cook; she was disabled. My father, you know, he wasn't able to cook as well either. So it was something that kind of just was that gift became a necessity, and I had to do it.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of how it started from there. But on the flip side of that, it was something I was naturally good at, but it was something I always ran from as well too. Because when it came to like doing stuff for like large groups of people, it was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It was like that just the whole time, and I don't know why that was. I had bad anxiety from it. Well, you know, I'm not going to say that. I would say it was always one of them things because food, like anyone knows, is so subjective. Oh, yeah. Right? Food's subjective. I'll never be able to beat your mother's collard greens.
Yeah.
Right? If you grew up on those and that's what it was, and you ate those for the first 20 years, I don't care how good I make them, they'll never be hers. Yep. And it was one of those things where it was like, okay, I could cook for 100 people. And everyone could say the food was great. And that one person could be like, man, it was okay. Yeah. And they used to shatter my confidence. And I'd be like, man, everybody don't like my food. I'm not good enough. And it was just that, and that was the only thing. I've thrown parties. I've done different things. But food was that thing where it was like, I always was really critical of myself when it came to cooking. Yeah. Yep.
Where do you think that criticism came from?
You know what? I've just always been hard on myself. I'm a perfectionist. Yeah. Maybe it's the Virgo in me. I don't know.
Which can be a very good and bad thing.
Yeah. So I'm always pushing myself, and I just think that when I cook, I'm never comparing myself to like what my father did or what other people do. I watch a lot of Food Network, so I'm always like I'm looking at people like the Bobby Flays of the world, the Michael Simon, those people who are like they're really really gifted. So when people taste their food, you can see in their face like this is just incredible. Yeah, And for me, it was like okay, I want that type of notoriety. I want that when I cook. But I also was like, okay, I didn't realize I had to put that. It was like the process I was trying to skip. Yeah. Right. You can be that, but it may take you some time. But Absolutely. How much work are you willing to put into it so you get to that point where you're saying people can say, hey, no, this guy's food's legit. Yeah. He's that dude.
That's what's up.
Yep.
What did you do? Because you said you ran away from the food industry for a while doing this professionally. What were you doing career-wise leading up to this point?
I had multiple jobs. First I was in grocery retail for a little bit. I grew in the company with that.
Stayed around food?
Yeah, exactly, right? So I did that. I went to Walmart, and then I was like Family Dollar, so I became assistant managers and department managers, things like that. Then I actually went to college, because at first I didn't go. When I got out of high school, I was like, I'm going to get a job. Yeah. I hated school my whole life. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I hated school. I was like, when I get up out of 12th grade, I'm done. Yep. I'm done. I almost dropped out, but I was like, you know what? I gotta finish this. Plus, mom was like, you gonna finish school. Yeah. So I was like, you know what?
Mama.
Exactly right.
What college you go to?
I just went to MCI. I went to MCI over there off in Lothian. Yeah. So I was there. I got my bachelor's degree there for a little bit, and then I was there for 4 years, from like 2012, 2016, and then I went into Capital One. And
everybody in Richmond has worked at Capital One at some point.
yes, that's where I met my wife at, and she's still there. She's been there for 12 years now.
Oh, wow.
It is one of those places where people say it's a great starter company after college, but there's so much growth and opportunity there. I don't speak highly of many jobs, but that's one of those ones I can say, you know what, it's if you get in there, you get into the right space, you'll be all right there.
Yeah, I know some people that have been there 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Capital One, if you want to sponsor the pod, holla at your boy.
Exactly, right? Exactly. So I was there for a little bit, and then, because I got my degree in health information management. So after Capital One, I got into the field of just the healthcare field. So I started off with Cover Virginia, where they were, they deal with a lot of Medicaid and Medicare insurances, right? Applications. So I was there for a little bit, did that for about a year and a half. Then after that, I went to HCA. I was at HCA for a little bit, where they did all the stuff for with Johnson Willis and the HCA and Chippenham, things like that. So I was in the call center part where I did more of the insurance part of it. So I was there for about 3 years, and then I went to a company called Science and Medicine Group. Science and Medicine Group, they set me up, right, to fail, but I will always say God don't make mistakes. Yeah. So, they offered me about 6 figures to come and run their department. This was right after COVID. Yeah. So while they were doing downsizing, they were trying to still hire, which is really, really weird. Long story short, they hired me to the job, and about 3 months after getting the job, it was like 89 days later. 89 days later, they let me go. Jeez. Yeah. No warning, just let me go. Right out the gate. I didn't do anything wrong, wasn't written up, nothing. So that was, I have always had a bad taste in my mouth with companies anyways. I've been one person where I felt like I needed to have my own business. Yep. But I never really had I would call the courage to do it. Yeah. Right?
Which it takes a lot of courage to step out. But let's pause right there for a second. Yeah. What was that moment like? You were let go. What's your initial first thought? Because I'll share a portion of my story with you. When my last corporate job, almost 12 years ago now, I just saw the writing on the wall. I saw that they were about to eliminate my position. And I went to dust off my resume, but the thought had always been in my mind of being an entrepreneur. And I'm like, if I don't do this now, I didn't have kids, I didn't have a wife, I had a roommate, like overhead expenses were very low. I'm like, if I don't do this now, I'm not sure I'll ever get another right opportunity in my lifetime to take that leap of faith as an entrepreneur. So for you, at this moment, you married at this point?
Yes.
So
no, I wasn't. I was with my fiance.
Okay, fiance. So y'all know the path that you're going down, and you get that call. You're being let go after 89 days. What was the first reaction in terms of, am I going to look for another job, or you know what, I'm sick of this. It's time for me to finally go out and do something on my own?
The first reaction was a lot of pain because I didn't do anything wrong. I put my best foot forward. I took the job they wanted me to, and they let me go due to budget cuts. Yeah. So I was very frustrated, but I was also very scared because it was like, man, like, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? And I didn't know what my next move was at that point. Yeah. And here's a true story. After that, I was completely like spent at that point. I actually, because the job was what it was and what had happened, I actually had a seizure right around that time in my sleep. First one ever, never had one before. Oh, jeez. Yes. My wife woke me up. At the time, my fiance woke me up. Actually, I woke up. She was shaking me and trying to wake me up. And when I woke up, I seen all these people around me, and I'm like, "What are y'all in my room for?" And they're like, Mr. Taylor. And I literally like looked up and was like, maybe I'm dreaming. I turned over back to sleep. Yeah, and they kept shaking me up, and they was like, "You just had a seizure." And I was like, "No, I didn't."
Were you still at your house or at the hospital?
I was at my house. They were in the room surrounding me. There was like 6 EMTs. This is in my sleep when this happened. And they woke me up, and then they told me to get dressed, and my wife helped me walk down the steps because the steps were narrow. They couldn't bring the stretcher upstairs. So they had me walk down the steps, and then they put me in the back of the truck, and they were asking me my name, and for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, so I couldn't remember my name. I didn't know where I was. Like, only thing I know is like they told me I had a seizure, and I was like, no, I didn't. That was kind of where, and everything else was kind of just like lethargic and blurry for a little bit. But that's a different story. So, you know, again, when they fired me, I'm kind of figuring out what was my next move. And this is around the time that I was really, really heavy in the gym. At the time, I need to get back to that. But I went out running right after that. And I never forget, it was really, really cloudy that day. And I'm trying to figure out, you know, what I should do. Now, both my parents have passed away. I'm trying to figure out what's my next move. And anytime I ever get to that point where I'm trying to figure out what I should do next, I always just try to talk to my mom. Like, that's my thing, right? And true story, as I'm running, I'm on like my 4th or 5th mile, and it's cloudy that day. All of a sudden, the clouds kind of like separated a little bit, and the sun kind of hit me. And I heard a voice in my head say, you have everything you need, just keep going. And that, for me, was everything I needed. Yeah. Because I was really like, I was depressed because, again, I didn't do anything, you know. But once that happened, I kind of just, I said I could do something else. Yeah. I don't know what's my next move. I don't know where I'm going to go from here, but sitting here moping about something I can't change isn't going to fix anything. I need to figure out what's my next move. And then I just started working on some other things and figuring things out and trying to take this seriously, and here we are.
Man, that's powerful. Like, one, I don't understand how people don't understand that God's real.
Yeah, exactly.
For a sign like that, and it's always one big nugget to take away from what you just shared there is that when you open your mind, your heart to the universe, to God, things just seem to happen.
That is true.
It's those moments where you have a closed mind and thinking, oh, this is all I can do. Like, this is the corner I put myself in versus like, man, the world's my oyster. What's the next move? What are we going to do here?
Absolutely.
And that reminded me of something I heard the other day. A guy was saying, because as scary as it is being an entrepreneur, I heard a guy say this on a video the other day. He was like, you know, people talk about living paycheck to paycheck. He said, in your first 1 to 3 years of starting a business, try living invoice to invoice.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a whole nother, because you're pretty sure, even if you're not doing the best of work, that paycheck's probably coming every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, yep.
But that invoice, so many different things could happen. The client has issues, the money ain't right, they got to wait a couple of weeks to get you right, or like a number of things could happen.
You're slow at one point, and you're kind of just like, man, the savings is like, boy, you're trying to, like, palms are sweaty. You're like, man, I got to figure something out.
For sure. But to have, to be in such a scary moment where, one, you had just lost your job. Man, that's stacking the deck against you. You just lost your job. You have a seizure for the first time ever. Yeah. And, like, figuring out that next move. All the while engaged, knowing you got a wedding coming up, like all these different things piling on. So, yeah, that may be the most interesting story I've heard for the start of an entrepreneur. Now, talk to us about once you got the business going, because I've publicly said so many times, the hardest business in the world to run is something dealing with food. Yeah. Restaurants, bars, anything like that, like food service. It is, I've been in several different sectors, and I've always said the one business I will never touch is restaurants. So I fully believe that restaurant owners, chefs, people in that space, you guys are a whole different breed of entrepreneurs, because the level of tough skin that you guys have to have, because you're dealing with so many different metrics. It's like, I don't have to worry about a camera going bad because I've had it on the shelf for a month. You guys, when you buy a product, you got to get it out between a certain amount of time. Otherwise, that food goes bad. Now you're losing on your profit margins. Yeah. So talk to us about starting out as just, I'm assuming, just starting out as a solo one-man operation. What was that model like for you that you decided to launch with? Was it specifically just a catering, or?
Yeah, I went catering first. You know, and I think it was the blessing going catering first was I don't have to have high overhead. You know, because if you come to me for a service, I don't have to buy anything. Some people are coming to you, you know, 6 months in advance,
Yeah.
a year in advance, 2 years in advance, right? I have people that come up this year that signed with me last year for catering, and again, I don't have to buy anything for them, right? Or the things they need me to buy, I can go over there, buy it, put it in my deep freezers that I have, and I can just let that sit for a little bit,
Yep.
right? So I don't have to do like, all right, man, I got to make sure that this is fresh and ready to go. Now, when you get into having your own food truck and, you know, your own restaurant, that's a whole different animal.
Oh,
You got to
yeah.
have those things on deck. And having fresh foods or fresh meats, which is why a lot of places have business and run them the way they run them with fast food restaurants and things like that, where there's more frozen foods and things you can just put in a deep fryer, because having fresh meats really does hurt your business.
Yeah.
Right? If business is slow for a week, there's no telling how much you probably thrown away.
Yeah.
Because you have to look at your overhead and your inventory, and you have to say, okay, based off of last year's projections around this time, especially if it's a holiday, this is what we did.
Yep.
Right? So what if something happened? COVID happens, and now, based off of your last year projections, you can't use that. So you got to figure that part out. So
Lose 30% of that cow.
exactly. So now you're like, man, how do I do this? So a lot of companies are doing, you know, let me freeze these and frozen burgers and frozen fries and frozen nuggets.
So that makes sense. So that's why I like the food delivery services that probably picked up, because those
Yes.
profit margins, they can preserve that product longer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a really big thing right now. It's like, how do we save, you know, ourselves from like really, really like killing ourselves from those profit margins?
Yeah.
Because we need to sell. That's why you see a lot of times where I don't do this anymore. Certain places like smaller convenience stores, stuff like that, you'll see they'll keep something on the shelf. If you don't check those dates,
Oh, yeah.
you'll look at a
Bag of Doritos from last year or something like
It
that.
happens so many times. You'll look at oatmeal cream pie. It's like 2024. Wait a minute, because they're like, I can't throw this away. We don't make enough money for us to just give that food away.
Same thing. I used to own a vending machine business, and we'd have to go in there when we've refilled stock. We'd go through and check the dates on all that product.
Yeah. Yep. It is really one of them things where people are like, nah, let me just have something frozen, or things like take quick to fry and good to go from there.
So when you first started, is this you're operating out of your own kitchen?
Yes.
Like, break that down, how that was looking.
Yes, I operated my own kitchen when I first started, which is very, very tough, because I think one of my first clients was like, I think it was like 150 people. And you operate out of your own kitchen.
Yeah.
There's so many different factors you have to go into that. Well, number one, how to keep the food warm. Time management. How do you keep your time together, and how many days in advance can you cook without jeopardizing the food? So all the different things, until you can say, okay, now I got to get another freezer. You can, because like that's why you lose so much money, I believe, in the first year. People say, because you have to invest into the business. You have to. You don't have those things a lot of time. You have to buy the big deep freezer. You have to buy the big refrigerators. You have to buy the industrial pots and pans you can use, because using your regular skillet, you can't cook fast enough. You know what I mean? And you can't
cook for 150 people on the George Foreman grill.
Exactly. Now you're cooking on Tuesday, and the wedding's on Saturday. So by the time Thursday comes, that food is not good anymore. So you're like, man, I really got to figure this part out.
Yep.
So that was one of the biggest issues or hurdles that I had. But with that, I think that I was able to, I would say a lot of my clients wanted more Southern cuisine type items, right? So the beauty of those things, you cook those in both, right? Macaroni and cheese. You make a pan of macaroni and cheese, a big one, the sheet ones to feed 50, 60 people. You can do two of those, even if you're at your home, right? You got a top shelf and a bottom shelf, right? That's 120 people right there off of those two pans, right? 100 people. Same thing with like maybe green beans, stuff like that. So that helped out a lot as well too. And then you have to look at it and say, okay, cool. People may love your flavors, but you have to do like some other people do, right? Like you may go to a store and they may outsource some of those things, where like, hey, I can pay them to bring me a product, and then I could add my, add to my overhead. So those things may help you as well too. So until you can get to where you need, you have to figure that part out.
So like instead of making the spaghetti sauce from scratch, you're getting some stuff, and then you're adding in your little thing. It's like we used to do back in the day, man.
Yeah.
You get that little check, you got your oodles and noodles, but this time we can throw a little shrimp in there, dice up some green pepper and onion.
Yep. Exactly. And It does make a difference when you can when you have an emulsion blender and you could make your own spaghetti sauce, because you taste the freshness in that. You taste that basil, you taste that garlic. But at first, you might have to go with the canned stuff, right? And to be honest, a lot of people, I'm not gonna say they don't care, but they want, as long as the flavors are there, you're gonna be fine. Yeah,
most people aren't food connoisseurs. They can't tell picking up little hints. Like, it ain't like being a wine taster where you're able to taste the wood and all this stuff.
Exactly.
Most people are like, yo, this slaps or it doesn't.
Yep. And you think about that even with like food trucks, right? You have a lot of people with food trucks, and I'm not knocking anybody for what they do, but if you ever been somewhere, right, and they have a brick and mortar, and they have a food truck. Sometimes that food truck food does not taste like the brick and mortar food.
No, most of the time it doesn't.
Exactly. I didn't want to say that.
I'll say it. I'm not in the industry. I'm going to say it.
But yeah, and it's because they unfortunately have to sacrifice their quality for quantity, because you can't have people waiting 30 minutes for that stuff, right? You can't do that. Now,
the same thing with like Uber Eats and stuff too. Like, one of my favorite burger joints in town, I'm a burger connoisseur for sure, particularly smash burgers. Slay Burger, in my opinion, has the best smash burger in town.
I mean, they're really good.
Oh, but I ordered from Uber Eats the other day. Yeah. Because it's been sitting there for 30 minutes by the time, if not longer, by the time it gets over to you. It doesn't have that same texture, flavor, like a lot gets lost in that.
Fries are cold and all this type of stuff. It's really bad. It's really bad. So, a lot of people don't know. So I think the beauty of that, though, is you have to look at it and how you make the money from it. You have to look at how people look at it, right? Are you saving people time or money? If you can do one of those two things, I don't care what your industry is. If you're saving people either time or money, you will make money, right? If that's why people like McDonald's is going to always be in power, because there's one, you can drive a mile, there's one on this side. You drive up 30 more seconds, there's one on this side, because they know that it's not about the quality, it's about the quantity, right? And then it's like, okay, cool. Well, if I can't save on quantity, or you're not saving me time, then all right, cool. So it's like, if a person's like, man, I'm tired of waiting on this meal at this nice restaurant, you with your girl, your lady, and you're like, man, they better hurry and bring my food. They bring it, it's piping hot and it's good. You like, boy, I swear, y'all, man, y'all look at this food good, 'cause I'll be upset. Exactly. So it's the same thing, right? Can you save me time or money? And if you can do one of those two things, you'll be fine.
I always say cheap, good, and fast. Those are the things that clients ask for. And I say you can only have two of the three. You can't get it. You can't get it cheap and good and fast.
You can't. You cannot.
Something's got to give. So that model with you initially starting out, when did you have to graduate from? Actually, no. Let me ask this question first. Did you let your customer base dictate the menus that you were gonna develop, or did you go into this thinking these are the particular dishes? Because I think a lot of times we may go into a business with our own bias. I always try to make sure, and this is on my employee side as well as my client side, I always try to make sure that I'm hearing other people's opinions, because I may get set in my ways and see things one way, but that doesn't mean it's the right way. And a lot of times I've had team members come to me and say, Sam, why aren't we doing this? I'd sit there like, damn, I don't know. Why aren't we doing this? Like, break this down to me. Okay, sounds like a good idea. Let's implement that. So did you allow the customer base to dictate your menu, or did you let your menu dictate the customer base?
I let my customer dictate my menu. And the reason I wouldn't have done that if I didn't start traveling first, right? When I started traveling, I started to learn about like flavors and stuff like that. One of the first places I ever went to try out new food was Costa Rica. And I think Costa Rica has some of the best flavored food you've ever tasted. When it's fresh over there, like example, I do not like guacamole. I don't. I think I don't like the texture. It's just,
I don't like Chipotle's guacamole. I can eat it at the right spot.
For real. I'm just not a fan of it. But when I go over there,
it's on point.
Man, I'm tearing it up. I can eat it with just a bag of chips. Like, what is going on? And everything tastes so fresh and so good. So when I went there, and then I was in Jamaica, and then I went to like Paris. So these places started to like open my palate up. And when I came back here, I already knew I was good at Southern cuisine foods. That's what I grew up on. Most of my people grew up on that. And I wanted to expand that. So when I would see different chefs and caterers, they always have a set menu, and they're going to make those things. I was like, you know what? Let me try something different, because I don't want nobody to be like, well, I wanted to go with him, but he doesn't make this. right? If you go to Mission Barbecue and you say, I want some fried chicken, they're going to be like, we make ribs and pulled chicken, pork, and stuff. You know what I mean? And I've run into that with them. We've had our conversations with being in caterer, and they actually Mission Barbecue at an expo we did last year. Side note, somebody took some of their business, which I'll take that. But you run into that problem when you put yourself when you pigeonhole yourself like that. So just realizing that, and me being able to feel like I can cook anything. If I see it one time, I could pretty much mimic that if I need to.
What was the first dish a client asked you to make and you had to pause and be like, I don't know if I can do that, but we're going to figure this out?
It's a good question.
Because I think that's a big part of entrepreneurship is I used to have a painting on my wall at our last office that said entrepreneurship is jumping out of a plane and building a parachute on the way down. Like that. A lot of times we're just trying to figure stuff out. So like I'll never forget my very first big deal with this firm was with the Flying Squirrels. So I think still to this day they have it on their website. If you go to their website, you get like a 3D seat of like where your actual ticket is.
Okay.
So you'll see the exact view that you have on the site.
Okay.
We approached them. We saw that this technology was getting big, and this was like 9-10 years ago. We saw the technology for that was getting big, and we were like, we want this equipment, but we can't afford it. It was going to cost us like $2,000, and we didn't have it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, how about we do this? Let's pitch a client that we know could use this service, has the finances for it. So basically, we're going to get this first job for free. We'll book them out far enough where it's like, okay, we get your money. Now we got time to order the equipment we need. We maybe have 2-3 days to figure out how to use this, and then we got to show up and knock this thing out.
Yeah.
So it's been countless examples of that where like you don't know what you're doing until you got to do it.
Right.
So just curious of like, because people are throwing all kinds of things at you where it's like, I'm not used to making this. Would you typically say like, oh, that's not my wheelhouse? Or are you the type that's like, you know what? We haven't done this before, but I'm pretty confident I can get this done for you.
The answer to that is always yes for me.
Okay.
When a person says, can you do this? It's yes. Even if I've never done it before, by the time we get to that point, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I have that much confidence in myself, and you have to as an entrepreneur, right? Because you're going to have people that are going to ask you for certain things, right? And it may not be in your wheelhouse, but it's like, can you adjust to that? Because it's your name. Can you really adjust to that? And people are going to want what they want. As a new business owner, you have to be able to say or to because your name is what it is, right? Clients are going to, you don't have the advertisement dollars behind you, right? So if you're saying, hey, Gary, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, no, I can't do that. If you go somewhere else and they do it, I just lost business. And now they're going to get promoted the way, because that word of mouth is really what it is. So how do you, because a lot of times it's just fear. It's just fear.
That's facts.
And cooking, again, is so subjective. It may not be for everybody's liking, right? Everybody's not going to love what you make, right? I don't think in anything you do, everybody's not going to love. It's not going to be 100%. This is what it is. Whether it be comedy, whether it be cooking, whether it be, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. That is okay.
And that's a major key of entrepreneurship is understanding that fact of like, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And the fact that people go out, start businesses and think that everybody in the world should be working with them. I always pose a question to people. If for your service, if everybody in your immediate area who could use your service came and purchased from you right now, could you handle all that business? And the answer is a resounding hell no. There ain't no way in the world you can handle all that people. One business I ran when we were initially setting out that the business plan for that, we looked and we just saw that we only needed 1% of Chesterfield County. It was something on the educational side we were doing. We were like, if we get 1% of the parents in Chesterfield County to sign on for our service, we'll gross $4.3 million in our first year. 1%. Wow. But everybody thinks everybody needs to know who they are. Like the entire state, the entire world, like's got to know, like put me on, I got to go viral and da. No, you only need a small collective of people to get everything you want out of life.
I think that's because people live their life and they look on social media. Right? They want to be more known than they want to be, more wealthy, and that's not a healthy way to look at things. Also, people will look at things and they'll say, well, they'll try a business out, and the first thing you do is you pitch to your friends, pitch to your family, and those people don't support you the way you want them to. And it's like that may not be your base for what you're offering.
Yep.
Right. So it's like you can't look at that and be like, wow, y'all not supporting them or forget it or whatever. It's like, no, a lot of the times the people that really support you are the ones that you don't know.
Yep.
I had to find it out the hard way.
I've always said that strangers will be your first customers.
Exactly, because they're the ones that will pay you. I remember when I got my very first, like, really big check, right? My very first big check, I was like, okay, wait a minute. Huh? And they paid me my very first check with catering. I was, I had a couple figures here, a couple figures there.
Yeah.
But then I got one that was like, all right. They were like, hey, listen, we're gonna do this, and our budget is $25,000. And I'm like,
you're trying to control your face. You're like,
right.
Okay, I think I can work with that.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. But in my mind, I'm like, y'all gonna pay me what? And I was talking to my wife about that. I was telling her, she'd be like, are you surprised about it? I'm like, yeah. Understand, I come from nothing. Mm-hmm. I come from like nothing. I was homeless before.
Yeah.
So for someone to come to me and say they're going to give me this amount of money and put that responsibility on me to make their event look a certain way or to have to fit a certain mold, that's something you would never think about.
Yep.
As a young black man coming up,
and especially get that in one transaction and be like,
exactly.
yo, bro, it used to take me months to accumulate this much money.
Right.
Now I'm doing it in one transaction.
Exactly. You look at that nowadays, most people, in Virginia, are making, $50,000 right now, something like that. So that's a year and a half for them to get that $75,000 or $25,000, whatever, or half a year, sorry. So it's like, man, it's no money nowadays. The way the housing market is, the way food is, it's no money. But, for people to sit up there and say, you know what? I like what you have. I like what you do, here. And part of my selling point with everything as far as catering with that was I always do free tastings. Right? So once you sign a contract with me, I'll do a free tasting because I want you to know one thing. When you do business with me, the way your food tastes at the tasting, it will taste that same way at the day of the event. So you say, hey, this is too salty. Hey, this is too spicy. Hey, I want more salt. Tell me what it is so I can perfect that on your day. I don't want to get cussed on the day of your wedding. I don't want that. I'm willing to take that criticism because I have to know what you're looking for. And
on the family piece too, like one thing to dig into that a little further, the reason why a stranger is going to be your first customer versus a family member is because a stranger has no bias against you.
That's true.
Your family, they like, you go to your auntie, your younger boy, I used to wipe your behind when you was a little boy. Like they just look at you as a little peanut or whatever it is.
Right, yep.
They don't see what you've grown into.
Exactly.
So in the back of their mind, they're still like, man, this dude got a little business, who he think he is type thing. Versus a stranger, you're just promoting yourself and announcing yourself to the world, hey, I'm a chef, this is what I do. And they're like, all right, I'll give this guy a try.
Yep.
Every time.
True. Every single time. And it is a blessing that when you step out there and you start to see that it's so humbling.
Changes the world.
It does, man. I think a lot of people just have to think about it that way. They have to stop looking at the world being as big as that block that they know or the people in their family. It's not this. It's not that.
Get some stamps on your passport.
Yep. That will change. It changed my life. My life.
Stuff that's going on now. I might have to take a citizenship somewhere else based on what's going on right now.
All right, go south or something. Figure this thing out.
Something's going to have to happen. Let's talk about the population of clients that you serve. So, like you briefly mentioned weddings. So who are your target clients that you're going after?
Right now, I'm focusing more on business clients. I know that. Right, business and weddings, and the reason why is because they allow me to be that one-stop shop I want.
Yeah.
Right, they want a certain aesthetic, they want a certain look, they want the food, they want a vibe, they want a certain energy, and those clients allow me to do that. Where they're like, hey, I want you to do the whole thing. They don't have time to go searching to do this and that. And it's like, okay, where are my video? You have a videographer? Yes. Do you have a photographer? Yes. Do you have a dance floor? Yes. Do you have a building? Yes. Do you have a host? Yes. Do you? Even when I didn't have it, the answer was always yes. It was always, I'll find it.
Yep.
How many months I got to do? Perfect. I'll have them by that day.
My goal is always to be the guy who has a guy. When you ask me if you need a connection to something, even if I don't, all right, give me 24 hours, I'll have one for you.
Exactly. Yep. And that was that, for me, that was really what, like, I was a catapult to me like that,
Nice. And then on the business side, Well, because I know you chatted with my team before I walked in here today with you. We had taken a pause on weddings for a while. A big part of that was because my staff had shifted, and it takes a very special videographer, photographer to work. It's not the same as like filming for a business.
Absolutely.
Weddings and business are two completely different categories.
Yeah.
But we took a pause on that because, one, I was initially the one out there filming all the weddings, and I'm like, this ain't the life I want. I don't want to be working every single weekend.
Yeah.
Like, the money's good. Don't get me wrong. But only way I'm going to continue to build this is if I can create a system in which I have others out there doing this work, and we can just kind of funnel it through here.
Yeah.
On the business side, like, the beautiful thing is you work between 9 to 5 hours, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Because I've had to make strategic moves in terms of making sure I'm separating my business and personal. Because especially like in the early days, just like with you, my office was at me and my wife's townhome.
Yep.
Like, and I'll remember the days where she'd be like, all right, I'm going to bed, and I'd be sitting there at my computer in the office like, all right, like I'm going to wrap this video edit up and I'll be there in a little bit. And then next thing I know, I look up, it's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh, damn. So once I got to the point where I could separate the two, so now when I come home, I'm husband and father.
Right.
My kids rarely see me pull out the laptop during those 2 hours they have before they go to bed.
Yeah.
So being able to separate those two. So talk about how you've been able to do that with the client base that you're working with. Do you find it difficult to separate that time and say, this is for me, and not having too much bleed over into like your personal life?
I would say I found balance with my wife actually working with me. That is the only way, because right now it is a lot.
Yeah.
Right. We've just gotten to a point where we have like a space where we can have events. We have a kitchen somewhere else. We have these different things that allow us to kind of separate, but we're still building on it.
Yeah.
Where our balance comes in at, we do have a newborn as well too.
Oh, nice. Congrats, man.
Thank you. And
Is that your first?
yes, my first. Yeah, my first son. Yeah, he's a handful. Learn how to be a father at 40 is a little tough. It's a little tough. I'm getting there, but
and the boys are way different than the girls.
Yeah.
Boys, like, man, as soon as my son could move an inch, he's like jumping off the top of the couch and trying to suplex me every chance he gets.
Look, he said he did. How old's your son?
He's 4 now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a lot, but I think now the way we do it, because she does see how locked in I am, and she respects that, right? Because she's locked in too, where she works for Capital One, but she also works the business. Me, I'm just full on business.
Yep.
I would say when we need a moment, we take a moment. It's like, hey, we haven't had a date night, and we can have a date night, right? Just because we're trying to continue to build that clientele, till our name is like synonymous with what it is, right?
Yep.
We need to cater. Okay, cool. We'll reach out to them. So sometimes people will reach out to us on weekends, and we, cool, whatever. But we also have, we also set up like consultations for people as well too, so they can reach out to us through a link called Calendly. And once they do that, we can email them back if there's an issue. Hey, can we reschedule this for another day? Do we have something going on that day? Things like that. But for the most part, we're able to just say, okay, cool, let's shut our phones off for a couple of days. Let's go take some time, me and you, get away.
Yep.
Send Gianni, our son, to his grandma's house, and then we'll find balance that way. But for the most part, we're always locked in because we are still so new.
Yeah, and I think that especially in the early days, like the first, and I was blessed enough that like I got the vision for what I do now over a decade ago. So like at 30, it hit me, and I was like, bump this corporate life. Like, I'm not built for this. Yeah. This is the direction I need to go. Yeah. And the thought was always in my head, before I have kids, before I have a wife, and kids are still so young, I'm not dealing with this yet, but I never wanted there to be a moment where my daughter's like, hey, Daddy, are you going to be at my ballet recital today? Or my son being like, yo, are you going to be at the game today? And I'd be like, Daddy's got to work. Right. I wanted to make sure that I had something established to the point that when that came along, we're good. Daddy's not gonna miss a moment. I'm not gonna miss the first steps. I'm not gonna miss the first pitch. I'm not gonna miss any of that stuff.
Right.
But I think that's a a very difficult thing to try to do in the first 3 years. Like, you just got to have your head down and, like, getting at it.
You do.
But doing that consistently over that 2 to 3 year period, so many people just don't realize what's on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Like, this is a temporary situation.
Yes.
It's just, I always use the example of, gathering momentum. So, like, if there's a huge boulder sitting in the middle of my office and we got to push it, those first couple it's going to be real hard for us to get that moving. But once that thing starts rolling, I mean, I can basically just hit it with my finger and that thing's going to keep rolling.
Right.
That's all you're doing in the first couple of years is, like, you're just building up that momentum. And once that momentum gets there, it's sweet. But then again, it's also the nature of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I like to work.
Yeah.
Like, this is my life's work. Like, there's no doubt in my mind this is the main reason why I'm here on this earth.
Yeah.
Is to do what I'm doing now. Secondary to that is being a father and a husband. I told my wife that on our first day was a blind date. I said, hey, before anything, I'm an entrepreneur. If you need me by your side 24/7, this ain't going to work out. But I'd like to take you out again if you can roll with that. She said, no, I can roll with that. So never has my wife been able to come back and be like, well, you didn't tell me it was going to be like this. No, I told you before you even knew my last name. Like, we got that out the way. So I think that balance, when you got that hunger and you got that dog in you, it's like, that phone rings. And now you made a valid point, because I never thought I'd do this. I brought my wife into the business a few months ago. So she's on as administrative assistant. So she's a stay-at-home mom for our kids. But we had a position switch, and with that person, she had 2 or 3 roles that were really under her. My wife was like, I can do some of that, right? And I was like, I always thought in the back of my head, I was like, if I have to work with my wife, we're going to end up killing each other. But it's actually been one of the greatest things, one of the best business decisions I've ever made, because one, now she has full access to my calendar. So there are some days where, like, I'm just getting it. Like, she knows if she texts me and I don't respond for an hour and a half, 2 hours, she's like, yo, he's slammed today. So she'll look at the calendar and be like, hey, if you need to work a little later tonight, I got the kids. Like, don't worry about it. You can stay some extra time. Like, so talk about how that's been weaving your wife into the business.
I think when I first started doing this, she was a person that, I think like any man who has a good woman, they understand. Right? They understand. But they're not fully invested into your dream. Right? I didn't even know catering would be my dream. It was entrepreneurship was my dream. But what happened with that and with us was, I think she started to see, okay, he's not just locked in, he's not just focused. He's getting a response. People are starting to gravitate to him for what he's offering. And as she started to see me move a certain way, she started to see, okay, well, he's getting a little it's like a lot going on now. So maybe he needs my help, right? So it was like, okay, hey, I can do this for you, and I can do that for you, when she had extra time. And then as she started to do that, it was like she started to see, and it was when I got that first big check, it was like, wait a minute. No, he has something going on. That this is something where this is going to benefit us, And then she started to not just help, she started to enjoy doing it, right? To the point she's like, hurry up and get me out of Capital One. And I told her that's one of my goals was like, yo, I'm, into 2026 it's over. We got to cut you off of that, because it's just not worth it. We're going to do this on our own. And I think that was just what it is. It was just like she just started to see the work ethic. Again, you have a lot of people that say they're going to do something, right? But it's very contagious, right? Where even if you're busier as a man, right, you're doing something, you see it. It's not like the wife saying, okay, the money's coming in. It's like, no, she see what it means to you. And she follows suit like, yo, no, this is something that's benefiting us. This is, I love to see him living in his purpose, doing what he does. Let me support this. And that's just what it was. And then it became a love of hers. It was like I brought her into the business, because it was like, no, I handle this part now when it comes to like my decor and all this type of stuff. She does all that. She does my website designs for people. She'll do mock-ups for people when they're saying, hey, I want this to look like this. Okay, cool. Well, this is what we offer. And then she'll send them like 3 or 4 different mock-ups. This is what it's going to look like. This is what we're going to do. I'm able to like employ her so now she can hire her own staff to put that decor together, put those pieces together, those elements that make that event look great. And she's like, well, I can't believe that I'm actually an entrepreneur now. because she's always had it. Her work ethic is like that. Her work ethic is probably better than mine. I never tell her that, but till she sees it.
We'll edit this out for you.
Yeah, okay, cool. But she always had the work ethic, but I think she always had the fear because it was like, I've never done it. She's always been very, very safe. Yeah. And now she sees this guy, or she has this man who's not safe, who will take a chance on anything. And a lot of times, I took a chance because I had no choice.
Yep.
Right? So it was like, man, I got to do something. Where she was moving up in company, she was able to have certain things. For me, it's like, man, I got to do something.
Yep.
And then she's seeing, it was like, no, it's not just you taking a chance. This guy is really moving, and people are responding, and people are cutting checks. They're saying, no, we believe in you. We've heard about what you did last time. I want to deal with you. And that is what creates that balance for the both of us, because now she's fully invested, and I've created a part of the business for her where she's able to eat off of that as well too.
Man, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. And then also, once I brought my wife in, it's beautiful to see that salary that I was paying somebody else coming right back into my bank.
Exactly. Yep. That's a beautiful thing.
I was like, now I see why all these families own businesses together. Like, just bring it right back in here.
Yep, absolutely.
Dude, this is awesome. So if people want to book it, well, first, go through your whole list of services. I want people to get a concrete idea of everything that you guys offer.
Okay. If you have any type of event, we do everything. Especially with the weddings. Again, we have either past, we have videographers, photographers, we do the catering.
He's about to have the best videographers and photographers at Enzo Media.
That part, yep. If you need a catering setup, right, where you need more a buffet setup for whether you need dessert tables or with floral decor, all those type of things. You need a dinner table setup, all those type of things, plated, whatever. We do regular table decor. We have lighting. We have a DJ.
Oh, jeez. Y'all do it all.
Yeah, we do the whole thing. Right? We do even if you're getting married overseas, we will set up the whole thing for you. We will book all the rooms for you. We will make those reservations for you. We do everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a white glove service.
I'm telling you, we want to make sure. Listen, when you come over here, you ain't got to go nowhere else. Don't worry about it. Stay right here. We're gonna work on it for you.
Love that.
So yeah, we do everything that you can think of, and if it's certain things that you may need, I promise you, we'll get to it by the time your event comes.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So if people want to book you guys, if they want to learn more about you, where can they go to get more info?
They can go to our Instagram page, which is TNC Catering. TNC Custom Catering and Events, or you can email us at tc.customcateringandevents@gmail.com, or you can go to our Calendly link. It's a hard word to say. It's Calendly, and you can book a session with us or whatever. We do free virtual consultations where you can talk to us for about 30 minutes. If you need to talk to us more times than that, we're always available. You can always give me a call if you pick up our information. You can also go to the RVA Wedding Expo. They have us up there as well, too. So if you have a wedding coming up, you can pick us up there as well, too.
Love it. Love it. Well, dude, appreciate you being on the podcast today, man.
Thank you, man.
This was an awesome conversation.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys on the next episode.